everybody. You know what sucks? A kidney infection. I tell you what. Yeah. It sucks a lot. So Thursday night I hung out with my friend Sarah, and I got home maybe about, I don't know, 1:32, and did some stuff on the computer. And stayed up too late. And then like about 6 o'clock I kind of felt this pain in my lower right side, and I was like, go to bed. It'll feel better when you wake up. And it didn't. I got up like 1. And it continued to feel bad. And then I was like, well, that's like appendix side bad. And it felt bad enough. It was like an inside, and it was like dull, burny. So I was going to go to Walgreens, and then I was like, well, wait a minute. Even if it is something bad, they're going to tell me to go to the ER anyway. So I was like, I guess I'm just going to go to the ER. And I went to Swedish Covenant, and they were like, oh, do you have a fever? And I was like, I already did my research. I looked on the internet, and I was like, I don't have a fever. I'm not throwing up. And I was like, no, I know none of that stuff. But it hurt. It was about a 6, I would say. So, hang on, Flanny needs a little water. Okay. So they were like, we can do an ultrasound, we can do a CAT scan, and I'm already going to have to fill out this application and have them, beg them for their mercy. That's the other thing when I'm checking in. Do you have insurance? No. Do you have a primary care doctor? No. You know? And I would feel douchey, except for, man, hey, welcome to America, everybody. Are you working? No. I don't know where I'm going to live in 3 days. And, so they do this ultrasound outside, inside. Did you even know they could do that, people? Well, for girls, they can. It comes back. Because then I'm like, if it's not appendicitis, I'm like, maybe ruptured cyst. I'm at the very end of a cycle. All right, maybe. And they can't see my appendix with the ultrasound, which the doctor said was a possibility that could happen. They find some cysts on both ovaries, and a little maybe possible like a fibroid tumor or whatever. Nothing benign probably. In my endometriosis or whatever. So they could do the CT, but I'm like, it's another grand on my bill. I'm gonna ask them to help me not pay. And so I'm like, nah, whatever. The guy's like, all right, go home. If it stays the same or get worse, come back. And I'm like, well, what if it stays the same? How long? He's like, well, 24 hours or more. I don't know. Okay. 6 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go home and pack then, I guess. He's like, whoa, have you been packing? And I'm like, a couple boxes here or there. And he's like, well, you could have pulled a muscle or whatever. And I was like, I wasn't going to argue with the guy. I knew he didn't pull a muscle. My bones and back and everything aches all the time, I know what a pulled muscle feels like. This is inside me, you know? But I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to argue with this guy. So I go home and I start packing, cleaning. My landlord's going to be over at 10 to show the apartment, and my apartment is a disaster. So I start packing and cleaning and taking breaks and laying down on the floor and like doing whatever, and I don't go to bed. It's like 6 o'clock. I don't go to bed, and it still hurts. And what's up, Flanny? And I keep packing and cleaning. It's 10 o'clock. My landlord comes over. He shows the place, whatever. And now it's 11. Now it's 12, and it really hurts. And I'm just like, I guess I'm going back to the ER. So I go back to the ER. What's up, Flan? Come on. And I go back to the ER, and I'm like, hey, I was here yesterday. Hey, it still really sucks a lot, bad. And they come talk to me and do whatever, and they're like, all right, well, and the new doctor, and he's like, well, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, I don't know, what are we gonna do? He's like, well, we can do the CT scan, and I'm like, I guess that is what we're gonna do, right? So I have to drink this shit, and then wait an hour, and drink some more shit, and wait an hour, and they take me up there, and they put some dye in my veins, which is all hot and warm and freaky. And they do the CT scan, and then I come back down. Meanwhile, by the way, you guys, I'm in pain. I'm in pain like I've never known. Like, panting pain. Like, 2 or 3 times, far apart, but 2 or 3 times, like, I have myself a good old cry. Because I'm just like, it is exhausting to be in pain for that long. Unrelenting. I had taken ibuprofen, like 800 milligrams, like, a good portion apart, no relief. Oh, so they give me something for the pain. Toradol, Brian Urlacher's preferred painkiller, apparently. It's an NSAID. It's an anti-inflammatory. I told him, hey, I'm sober. I don't want any, anything good. Nothing. That Toradol doesn't even touch my pain. Doesn't make a dent. So I continue to grit it out and pant it out, and I don't even turn on the TV there. I just lay there and ride. And so finally I start making some calls to my friends, and I'm like, hey guys, is it cool, you think? I call my sponsor. She doesn't answer. She's not around. And I'm like, hey guys, you think it's cool if I get a little pain meds? Like, is that kosher? Because I am hurting here. I'm tired. And it's not going away. I get some talks. I'm, at least I feel good that I've, like, been honest about it and shit. So finally I'm like, all right, man, like, I surrender. Like, give me something. But let's be chill about it. And the doc comes in, and he's cool, and I'm like, hey, dude, let's do this, but, let's be chill. I'm like, I've been sober 10 years, so, like, I haven't had anything. I don't even know if I've ever had anything like that in my system. He's like, really? He's like, you work in a recovery program? I'm like, that's cool. Normally you tell doctors that, they're like, what ups? I'm like, yeah. He's like, AA? I'm like, yeah. Probably shouldn't say that on this YouTube video, but he's like, how many meetings you go to a week? I'm like, what? I'm like, about 4. And he's like, you got a sponsor and all that? I'm like, yeah. I'm just like, boss. Like, normally doctors do not, like, they do not fucking even know about that shit. Like, they do not ask that. They do not even know to ask that. So, like, he was chill, like, and he knew. He's like, so, like, not mood altering. Like, he knew, like, the fucking drill. So, like, that's cool. I was down with that. So she came in. She gave me this shit so I didn't throw up, and she's like, morphine. I'm like, morphine? I'm like, don't they give that to dying people? She's like, well, that's what we give. So she gives me this shit, and I'm expecting, right, that I'm going to be all fucked up and whatnot. You guys, I felt a little, first of all, I got itchy. I was itchy. That made me feel like a junkie. And, I and I got a little warm, and I got a little sleepy, which enabled it. It took the edge off, like took it down from like an 8.5 to like a 6. So I laid there for a little bit. I thought some dreamy thoughts. Like it felt a little bit like it used to feel like when I was high on pot. So I dozed and like thought some shit. She comes in and she's like, "How's the pain?" And I'm like sleepy. So I'm like, "Oh, 2." And she's like, "Oh, good." Dude, it wasn't a 2. I feel itchy a little bit. So I wasn't a 2. It was like a 6. Because I was laying there and I was like actually feeling good that it hurt a little bit still. So that I wasn't like all jacked up or anything. And by the time my antibiotics were done, oh, so they tell me it's a kidney. So they tell me no appendix, no gallbladder. Because that was when I came back to the hospital, I was like, gallbladder. My mom had her gallbladder out. Maybe it's the gallbladder. I am still in pain, you guys. So they're like, no appendix, no gallbladder, no kidney stones, kidney infection. Kidney infection? What? So I'm like, what would even cause that? These are the possibles. Sexual relations. I'm like, no. Sorry, dude. Wish. He's like, well, like wiping, like depending on how you wipe, you could get some bacteria up there. I'm like, well, I've been wiping the same for a long time. Never got no kidney infection. And then he's like, or your immune system could be down. Yeah, I guess it could be that. Pretty stressed out about this move that I don't have planned. And my money and no job, I guess. I mean, I didn't say that to him, but I'm like, I wanted to be like, so basically you have no fucking clue why I have a kidney infection. Which concerns me, personally, but... yeah, so... I go and have to fill a prescription for this antibiotic that they gave me in the hospital. Generic. With the Walgreens prescription savings club that I had to pay $5 for. $130, which is basically pretty much all that's in my savings account right now. And my parents are going to help me out, which is awesome and makes me a loser. And I'm still in pain. I'm still in pain. In the front and in the back. Oh, my little kidney. My tiny little kidney. Why do you want to cause Jossie so much pain? Oh, man. And then sometimes when I had my good little cries in the hospital, alone by myself. What was my point of that? I was going to say one more thing about that, besides the fact that it was exhausting to cry, or to be tired for so long. There was something else that I was thinking about when I was crying, and I was going to tell you. Oh, that I didn't want to be a baby. I was like crying, like being like, I'm not trying to be a baby about this. Like, oh, but I'm in pain. I have a high pain tolerance, mofos. I really, really do. So, sorry to get all groany on you there for a second, but yeah, that's the verdict. Motherfucking kidney infection. So no surgeries or anything. And then my mom's like, Joss, go lay down. Go home and get some rest. I'm like, I'm not going to go dancing, Ma. Like, so anyway, that's the update for everyone. Not much of an update. I'm going to eat some butter pasta because I got to eat something, dudes. And have some lemonade, I guess. I don't know. Peace.